This is Michael Tellado for the Opex CCP final project, and this I will be discussing my transition to design for my client, Jessie Sipes. She is a 37-year-old with 4 kids, single mom. She works at a bank, and she's a teller supervisor. Jessie has been active her whole life, pretty much. And she started running long distances in 2009. She kept that on up until she met CrossFit in the summer of 2019, and that's been her way to move and to be active every day by doing CrossFit and classes. Her goals in fitness and in fitness related are to be at her best for the 2024 CrossFit Open, and that will be seen in the program design. She hasn't been sleeping well lately. There's a lot of things that have been happening. She wakes up every 2 hours. She has trouble falling asleep, and her stress levels are through the roof. A lot of things happening in her life right now, but she is very active. She gets adequate sun exposure from what we talked about in an initial consult. Her food hygiene is pretty good, and she works out from Monday through Friday, so we'll try to keep it that way. So I'll definitely be paying attention to her sleeping patterns. She has a nutritional coach, so I will want to see what the nutritional coach is prescribing, and we'll dig into a few things to bring those stress levels down, and to try to bring those stress levels down and to try to make her sleep a little bit more comfortably. In the long-term plan, she's trying to peak. We're gonna try to peak for the 2024 CrossFit Open. So we're gonna spend most of our time in an accumulation phase, or starting right now, with some deload weeks in between. So we'll start our first deload week will be in the week of July 3, after 12 weeks of accumulation, and then the second deload week will be in October 30th, or the first week of November, after 16 more weeks of accumulation. For the purpose of this project, we'll hit MAP 4 for 4 weeks with bike intervals to try to improve her 10-minute air bike for calories result, because it's the first time she's ever done a test like this, and I think she could learn a lot to pace out to get a better / more real result, if that makes sense. After that, we'll hit MAP 8, 7, 6 each for 8 weeks, and then the week of November 6th, that's when we'll move from an accumulation phase to an intensification phase. These weeks will have anaerobic work involved, starting from anaerobic alactic power, moving all the way down to anaerobic lactic endurance 3, touching on all the phases listed in the energy system training sheet, each one for 2 weeks if all goes well. We'll also start at MAP 5 in that intensification phase and progress all the way down to MAP 4 and finish that intensification phase on the week of the 29th of January. Then we'll have 2 weeks of a pre-competition phase right after, as we get ready for the first week of the Open. And during the Open, we'll back down to MAP 5 and move as seen fit through the competition weeks. After that, it all depends whether she qualifies to quarterfinals or not. And then if she qualifies, then we'll assess what the rules are for the Open at that point, to plan accordingly. Whether that be 3 weeks after the Open and the quarterfinals happen, or 2 weeks, or 1 week, we have to wait for those rules. But assuming that she doesn't, we'll jump onto 2 deload weeks right after, and on the week of March 25, we'll start another accumulation phase while being on MAP 8 again. And the 3 more weeks of accumulation, and that marks a year in the calendar. So that'll be the long-term plan. As for the short-term plan, as right now, we're gonna be focusing on weightlifting technique, increasing absolute strength, and refining gymnastics technique and adding gymnastics volume little by little. This I got from, or the way that this is set up is because of a few numbers that she already had, as in what rep maxes and whatnot, for to try to balance things out. And the gymnastics and then the weightlifting. I've said she showed me a few videos, and I saw a few things. I saw things that we're going to address in the program design. On Monday, we're going to be focusing on snatch technique. Bending will be our priority. We're going to be pushing, and we're going to be working on the core. On Tuesday, we're going to work on clean and jerk technique, squatting, pulling and lunging. Wednesday, we'll hit a little bit of skill practice, kipping specifically. And then we'll hit cyclical mat progression, and this will be the day that we hit the mat 4. Thursday, we'll hit power clean technique, focus up again on the bending, pushing, and we're gonna do some grind type work. And on Friday, we are going to hit snatch technique and work on some mixed moto pieces, trying to assimilate some longer pieces. Okay. Why the prescriptions of the exercises and the lifestyle? On the exercise side, this is based on the numbers that she gave me in some videos that she showed me from lifting and her gymnastics. And on the lifestyle side, like I mentioned earlier, she has a nutritional coach, which is she's prescribing some macros and stuff. So I want to see what she's prescribing, and the prescriptions that I'll give her will be based on her problems to falling asleep and staying asleep, and all the stressors that she faces. So I'll keep a close eye for those, and yeah, that is my transition to the sign with my client, Jesse Sipes.